seen a few arithmetic expressions so far, like addition, subtraction, and division. Remember when we turned Python into a calculator? Well, Python can also compare values. This lets us check whether something is smaller than, equal to, or bigger than something else. This allows us to take the result of our expressions and use them to make decisions. Check out these 3 examples. In the first example, 10 is greater than 1, so the value true is printed as a result. True is a value that belongs to another data type called a boolean. Booleans represent one of 2 possible states, either true or false. Every time you compare things in Python, the result is a boolean of the appropriate value. In the second example, we can see our very first equality operator, which is formed by putting 2 equal signs together. We use this operator to test whether 2 things are equal to each other. In this example, the string cat is not equal to the string dog, so the boolean that's printed is false. In our third example, we're doing the opposite comparison. By pairing an exclamation mark and an equals sign, we're using the not equals operator, which is the negated form of the equality operator. In this particular line of code, the operator checks that 1 isn't equal to 2. We called out before that the plus operator doesn't work between integers and strings. What do you think will happen if we try to compare an integer and a string? Let's find out by seeing if the number 1 is smaller than the string 1. Womp womp womp. We get a type error. That's the same error we got before. This happens because Python doesn't know how to check if a number is smaller than a string. And what about the equality operator? In this case, the interpreter has no problem telling us that the integer 1 and the string 1 aren't the same. So what gives? Basically, although they may seem similar to us because they both contain the same number, it's clear to the computer that one is a number and the other is a string. For the computer, it's obvious that they are completely different entities. On top of the comparison and equality operators, Python also has a set of logical operators. These operators allow you to connect multiple statements together and perform more complex comparisons. In Python, the logical operators are the words and, or, and not. Let's look at some examples. To evaluate as true, the and operator would need both expressions to be true at the same time. Here we're comparing strings, and the bigger and smaller operators refer to alphabetical order. Yellow comes after cyan, but brown doesn't come after magenta. So this means that the first statement is true, but the second one isn't, which makes the result of the whole expression false. If we use the or operator instead, the expression will be true if either of the expressions are true, and false only when both expressions are false. Let's try it out. 25 is definitely not bigger than 50, but 1 is different than 2. So in the end, the whole expression is true. Last up, the not operator inverts the value of the expression that's in front of it. If the expression is true, it becomes false. If it's false, it becomes true, just like this. Logical operators are important because they help us write more complex expressions. We'll see this in action in the next few videos. If this is the first time you've come across these operators, it might seem like there's a lot to remember. But don't worry, you'll learn most of them very quickly just by practicing. And in the next reading, we have a cheat sheet that lists all the operators available and what each one does. It's a handy resource you're sure to find useful when writing your own scripts.